Today, we're discussing the growing wave of age verification laws spreading across the US, including the latest one in my home state of Ohio. Now, these laws claim to protect the children, but at what cost? To privacy and cybersecurity. Well, we'll take a closer look at how third-party ID verification companies validate your age, the risks they pose, and how adult content is being defined far beyond pornography. Plus, we'll also discuss just how easy it is to get around these verification systems and what that says about the effectiveness and danger of this new digital ID landscape. And joining me to discuss this controversial topic is my often opinionated co-host, Kevin Johnson, who has no opinions of this at all.
No, it's actually funny. I was at GERCON last week, and a woman walked up, and I did not catch her name, but she listens to the podcast and commented.
Oh, we have one person that listens.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, that's what I said to her. I'm like, oh man, this is great. We have one person. She commented about how opinionated I am.
She's right.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not wrong. So yeah, this is a thing that is happening. This age verification. Actually, it's always been. We've probably talked about this on the podcast many times, but there are actually 24 states now that have similar laws to what Ohio has, and so this is becoming a thing. And I know in Ohio, they have tried to pass this law for years, and it has failed to either gain traction or has been shot down by the courts because of First Amendment and all these other things. And they were actually in Ohio able to squeak this through one of those appropriation bills. You know how they like the tag things on at the end of stuff? And that's how they were able to get this squeak through. But that went into effect here just in the last couple weeks. And I noticed it because I'm a user of Blue Sky, and Blue Sky has started doing age verification, which is a little surprising to me because other social networks have not done that yet. Like you don't have to check your age on Facebook or X or other social networks. And maybe they're just slower to do this. But the thing that, and the thing that surprised me the most was, like, I can't even use the direct messaging chat feature in Blue Sky without verifying my age. So you don't even have to be looking up adult content. You just can't even use the direct messaging feature.
I mean, it boils down to a risk acceptance, right? As the site, it's easier to make it a blanket thing across the entire thing than to try to reason with the legal behemoth you're fighting, right? The other problem you have is it's really difficult for a lot of people to fight against this idea. Yeah. Because it boils down to the two things that we've talked about before, right? One, let's protect the children. That is keyword for we're going to screw around with your rights. And then the second thing is, here in the United States, right or wrong, you feel the way you feel. We have a shame around anything related to pornography, right? And so if you come out and say, I've said for years as a First Amendment fanatic, right, this type of law is wrong, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. The answer people get is, well, you just want to look at porn. And it's like, well, no. I'm 52. I can look at porn if I want to or not. My issue is we're violating the First Amendment, and then let's not even get into the risks we're introducing by having, the sheer number of breaches that involve.
Let's talk about risks. Yeah.
private identity because of data that we're giving to companies that they shouldn't need.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I think I worry the most about. Well, there's two things. One is everybody uploading everything from their passport to driver's license to their electric bill, their water bills, all these things to, verify that they're over the age of 18. And there are so many companies out there that have sprung up that are doing this. Some I'd say better than others. Like the service that Blue Sky is using, it's called Kids Web Services, which is actually part of Epic Games. I believe they had open sourced this so other companies could use it, because that's how they verify for, video games, like your age and things like that. And they claim that they don't save any, like if you upload your driver's license, it's basically verified through some system, most likely AI powered, I would assume. And then that information is deleted, and then you have a hashed version of whatever that is used to verify you. Now that's great, but again, you and I both know how many times we've seen breaches where literally you find the backup folder on a web app pen test that has everybody's IDs that were captured for that quick second that they verified it, and everyone forgot about the backup, or so many instances of
just in real time the attackers get control of the system.
Or that.
Even if they delete it forever. How many of the breaches over the last 12 months were in chat systems that don't retain data, but because the attacker got access to the real-time chats, they have access to everything.
Exactly.
I mean, this goes down to the same thing that we've talked about many, many times, right? What is your goal? Is your goal to protect children? Then let's actually protect children. If our goal is to cause problems because we hate naked people, then say that. And let's talk about it, right? This, ignoring all the things we've already said, this goes back to the same thing we've talked about with voter ID. I mean, let's be blunt. If we have to have a government form of identification to view websites of whatever type they are, right? How am I getting that government ID? Let's ignore faking it.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I've stated on this podcast and many times elsewhere, my opinion of voter ID changed based on conversations. Previously, and I know this is a bit of a tangent, but it's relevant, I swear.
That's relevant,
My opinion of voter ID was, why wouldn't you require ID to vote, right? Like that, it just made no sense to me not to. Like, well, of course, you have to go, you have an ID, go. And then somebody pointed out that Georgia passed a law that required voter ID and then closed every office within 50 miles of a minority area that issued identification. So literally what they did was they made it so that you needed an ID to vote and then prevented minorities from easily getting an ID. Okay.
Wow.
So now we're preventing minorities from using Blue Sky and Pornhub and Facebook and all of these other things because the government decided to shut down the government ID store. And I know that's not what it's called, but I don't remember the name. Here in Florida, it's DMV. I don't know what it is in Georgia.
Similar in other states. Yeah.
According to Better Call Saul, it's MVD in New Mexico.
Right. Yes, that's right. Well, I guess that it brings up the topic of like, what is adult content? And it's very subjective, right? Like these laws are, I know definitely the one in Ohio is very like, it's loosey-goosey. Like you can interpret it in a lot of different ways when we're talking about adult content. So that could be anything from reproductive health, anything about sexual health. It could be politics these days. It could be, you could put the adult label on so many things outside of pornography.
I mean, I'm gonna say something that's probably inappropriate, but when I was a kid, the joke was your parents bought you a subscription to National Geographic because you could see boobs in it, right? Like it is. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Is that adult content? We have seen time and time again where adult filters have blocked access to sexual health, reproduction stuff, the information on preventing sexual abuse and assault. Because that's definitely adult content. Let's not teach kids how to protect themselves from rapists. right? Because that's what you're doing here. And this is not a slippery slope argument. This is not well, if we block porn, the next thing we're going to block is breast cancer stuff. No, the reality is that has happened. People have browsed to breast cancer help, right? And been blocked because they haven't verified their age. And so, like I said, this isn't a slippery slope. This is a let's block things that are helpful. This isn't an argument of I want to see people screwing each other. This is an argument of I want free access. And free in there as in the ability to access it, not, right? I'm not talking about cost, right? I want access to information. I want my daughters to be able to look up information. I want my sons to look up. I don't have sons, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like this is critical. And yet, as you mentioned in Ohio, we are sliding it into laws. And then, I mean, bluntly, the way you're finding it is that sites like Blue Sky or Pornhub or whatever are implementing, what is it called? Interstitials, where they block and say, well, no. Because there's the other issue, right? As a website, if you fall under the definition of potentially offering adult materials, you have to make a decision. Do you go through the process of attempting to verify people, knowing that it's easily bypassable? And
which we'll talk about next, yeah.
And if somebody bypasses it, you're liable, right?
Yeah.
Or do you just block access to the state, which is what's happening in many places?
That's what Blue Sky did with Mississippi. They just blocked the whole state. Yeah.
Yep. It's easier for us from a risk assessment. We just can't handle the restrictions they're putting on, the mechanisms they're requiring of us, right? Florida put the rule in place at the same time, and I love this, Florida put the rule in place at the same time that they changed the numbering system in their driver's licenses.
Yeah.
And so
that's awesome.
Not only did you get a new driver's license, but their system didn't handle it correctly. They had not updated the information they were providing, because it used to be your driver's license number was generated based on information about you. And so it was a predictable number. Now it's according to them, random number. I've seen two, right? Not enough to do any analysis, but they didn't publish that well. So organizations that were doing driver's license verifications failed on the new numbers. I had it happen because I was dealing with a certification and had to have my ID validated, and the validation failed because it did not recognize. The system was still written around the idea of, it's the first is your initial, this is your birthday, this is the county you live in type of thing, right? And it's not anymore.
Yeah, so let's talk about how easy it is to circumvent these checks, because that's the lovely thing about all of these restrictions, and this goes way back to the beginnings of hacking, right? Of like finding ways around draconian policies and all kinds of things. And so, obviously a VPN is the most easy that somebody could use to circumvent these checks. There is an effort actually in some states to actually prevent the use of VPNs. I just want to state that, which is extremely dangerous also.
Yes.
In my opinion. Good luck with that, by the way, trying to ban all VPNs in your state. There's obviously people can upload fake IDs, things like that, of course. And here's what I find interesting is, so some implementations of this, like Blue Sky has implemented, they're doing all of this on the client side. So I almost feel like they did that on purpose.
Yes.
So that you could write a script in a tool to basically and we'll link it in the show notes. Some people have written some scripts that you can put into your ad blocker that will basically bypass Blue Sky's verification checks, because all of this is done client side. And that is kind of the beauty, as we know, being web hackers, Kevin, that anything client side can be bypassed.
Yeah, untrustable.
Untrustable. So I kind of look at like this as like, we're going to put in the bare minimum in a lot of cases to meet the letter of the law, if you will, or we'll call it security theater. but it can be bypassed. Blue Sky is not going to stop anybody from using a VPN. And of course, kids are going to figure ways out around this because it's just so easy. And most kids these days know about VPNs because they've been using it to bypass their schools, filters on the Wi-Fi at the high school, right? So this is no different.
This is a case, in my opinion, where we've passed laws that are poorly formed that demand us to do something. And so organizations do the easiest way they can. And you know as well as I do that easy does not necessarily, and almost definitely is not, correct and secure.
Yeah.
And so we see, I think the bigger fear here, and this is where we go into the slippery slope idea, is that the next step is to just outright ban VPNs, which doesn't actually solve the problems because there's lots of ways around that as well. The only way, I don't know, I don't know of a way to truly validate all of this stuff. Right. Yeah. It's just, the whole situation is problematic, and we have enough issues going on right now that adding this on it just makes it worse.
Yeah, it's just like one more thing, right?
Yeah.
And you wonder what. Obviously, more states are adopting this. Like, I don't think that is not going to change because there is still this whole thing with the government and protecting the children, and it goes back to the encryption debate as well. Right? Like, people want to ban encryption. I mean, in the UK, they're actually bringing this up again. I don't know if you saw that in the news recently.
No, I did not. But that's great.
On top of age verification, which is also mandated across the entire country in the UK right now, they're also going down this road of these other very draconian enforcements. These are interesting times we're living in.
Yeah, this is definitely why that's a curse.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the one thing I wanted to just close out the podcast with is, what should parents and people that have kids, like, what do we do with all of this, right? Because I think, in my opinion, it comes back to, and I've said this many times in the show, is like, parents need to parent, right? Like, a lot of times I think parents just like, oh, I'm going to let the government just make all these rules and laws and I don't have to be a parent, right? Like, I could just live my day. And I think that's the wrong approach, right?
Yes.
I think we have to be involved in our kids' lives. We have to be talking to them and having open communication about adult content, whatever that means to you and your family. You need to handle that and not let the government handle that for you.
And I would go so far as to say you should actively push back against these laws. You should write to your Congress people, your senators, your whatevers, and argue that this is wrong.
100%.
And that what we're doing is we're actually increasing the risk to people.
Yeah.
And is the government going to pay for my free year credit monitoring?
I mean, I have a stack of that now. Like, I look at it as like a joke. I've had I don't know, like 5 or 6 all simultaneously, protecting my identity. I don't know.
Look, they all go simultaneous. I'd like them to be concurrent because that'd
be great forever.
I would have 97 years of
for life.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. It's all fun and games until the next big breach of one of these systems for verifying age happens. And then you wonder, the government will just downplay that. And we're like, oh, that's just an isolated incident.
An isolated incident. A dozen times in the last 12 months.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Isolated.
Good times. Isolated, yes. So, well, what an uplifting topic for today.
Oh, yeah.
All of these. Yeah. We try to, spread the good news in privacy and cybersecurity. But unfortunately, the world we live in these days just doesn't seem like there's a lot of good news. But we have hope, right, Kevin? We still have that.
No, I don't think we do.
Not even that?
No.
Okay. Well, that's gone. Well, that's all we have for today. So thank you all for listening. And until next time, stay safe, stay secure, and stay private. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode. Be sure to subscribe wherever you like to get your podcasts. Visit sharedsecurity.net for merch, previous episodes, and more. If you'd like to help support the podcast, join our Patreon to get ad-free episodes and many more exclusive supporter-only benefits. Visit sharedsecurity.net/supporter for more details.